What's up, guys? Just wanted to make a quick video today, give you guys some updates on Google Business Profile. As you guys know, we've gone all in on Google Business Profiles for the simple fact that Google ads, Facebook ads, and every other ad platform out there seems to just be getting worse and worse with all the adjustments that these companies are trying to make. They're trying to make things easier for people to run ads, and in return, what you're getting are less targeted ads that really seem to be kind of going in the opposite direction. And so Google Business Profile is an incredible way to generate high intent local leads that doesn't require ad spend. It costs no money to be on the platform of Google Business Profile, but they did make some adjustments back in, I believe it was November. And because they made those adjustments and because it's a free service, that means there's no support. And so they build these things out. They don't really have a support team that you can go to. And so you kind of have to figure it out and figure out what it is that they want without them really telling you what's wrong. So when they made their adjustments, they had a giant rollout release of batch updates they made back in November. And when they rolled that out, it affected a lot of things. And it started with reviews. And it was a discrepancy between the number that was being displayed versus the actual amount of reviews that were in the reviews. And so a lot of business owners were kind of losing it a little bit because they were like, hey, I've lost 100 reviews, I've lost 70, I've lost 50. And they started saying their businesses were affected, and in reality it wasn't, because the amount of reviews that were there were actually correct. For the most part, some people actually did lose, but that's a normal part of Google Business Profile and how Google operates. But the number that was being displayed was actually a lot less than what was in the actual reviews. So the easiest way to kind of get around it was just to manually count how many you should have had, and then just cross-reference it to the number that was being shown. Most people realized that that was the discrepancy. But ever since that has happened, there has been a drastic increase in the amount of Google Business Profile suspensions, Google Business Profile re-verifications, and the amount of time it takes to actually get things completed. So more profiles are being suspended, more profiles are being requested for re-verification. And because of that massive increase, the amount of time it's taking for them to actually process and push through these reinstatements and new profiles and all the other issues that Google Business Profile is coming across has been significantly extended. So a verification that may have typically taken 1 day or 2 days at most is now taking 1 to 2 weeks or longer. A verification of a suspended profile or reinstatement of a profile that would have taken 1 to 3 days is now taking 30 to 45 days or longer. It's a giant mess that's going on. And so I'm making this video, one, to give you an update on what's actually going on with Google Business Profile, but really the most important thing is the things that you can do on your end to avoid verifications, to avoid suspensions and everything else that's being triggered by Google Business Profile. And so I'll leave you with a couple of tips here. And the first one, you want to make sure that you under no circumstance are doing more than one major change at a time. So what are major changes with Google Business Profile? Changing your business name, changing your address, changing your phone number, changing your website. Those are the 4 major changes that you can make on Google Business Profile. If you're going to make it, make one at a time, and just go in there understanding that if you do make one at a time, you're probably still going to reach a re-verification request, which is going to pause your account. It's not going to make it visible online, and it's probably going to take you 30, 45 days or longer to get it re-verified, even if you do everything that they ask. So that's number 1. Number 2, do not make multiple changes. Like I said, that's gonna, if you make more than one, you're likely going to get suspended. But number 2, it's gonna trigger, guaranteed, if you make more than one large change, it's gonna either suspend your account or request that reinstatement. If you do one, you may reach that re-verification request. But the second thing I want to talk about is multiple profiles. We have too many times where your profile gets suspended, you don't know how to get it reinstated, you get frustrated because Google doesn't make it easy. And so what you do is naturally, you go and make a second profile. And sometimes it works. But the issue is when you have multiple profiles for the same business, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Google is going to suspend that new profile that you create, because they have something called circumventing the system. Same thing with Google Ads when you create multiple accounts. Anyone who tells you to just create a new page as the first option doesn't know what they're talking about. You should not be having that your first option. That should be your very last option after you've checked off all the boxes and all the other options. But Google's going to suspend both profiles for circumventing the system. The proper way to do it is to maximize the amount of attempts that you have to reinstate, which you get 2 reinstatement requests, and then on that second one, if you are denied twice, then you get one more additional one on, which is a submission of request for reinstatement after you've made the proper changes to the second request. And that sounds a little confusing, but they allow you to make an appeal. If that gets declined, you can go on and make a second appeal. And if that appeal gets denied, there is a separate location that you have to go to request an appeal to the second declination of that appeal. And that is your third and final option. And if that gets declined, then you cannot bring your profile back. So it's better to have a professional go do that for you to avoid having to get through 3 declinations, and then you try to go create a new page and that gets suspended too, and you're wondering what the hell is going on. You have to do the proper steps to get that. And once you get to that point, if you do create a new profile, it's because the first one has to be inactive. If you have an inactive profile, then you can create that secondary page and you can merge the two, okay? You don't delete the other one. I mean, you can, but if you have reviews and stuff that you want to get, that you want access to again, you have to merge those 2 pages. And so if both pages are active, they will not let you merge it. They'll suspend your account. So you want to ensure that the page is inactive. It's been inactive for some time. And then you create the second page and you request for a merge. Now, like I said, if you don't know how to do that, go pay someone who knows how to do that. We can do that for you. There's plenty of other companies that can do it for you as well. But pay someone who knows what they're doing and has done it before. They will do it the proper way. If you try to reinstate that profile that is inactive and make it active again, and what I mean by active is you signed into that profile, okay? If you sign back in, it's automatically going to be triggered as an active profile because you are actively inside of it. And if they see that you have 2 profiles, the second you sign into that inactive one and make it active, you don't have 2 active profiles, you're circumventing the system, both profiles get suspended. So, with that being said, do not make multiple large changes to your profile to avoid suspensions and re-verifications, which are taking forever. And then number 2, make sure that you are not creating a second profile unless you've expended all the avenues available to you to reinstate and re-verify that initial page. And then if you cannot get it done, then you have to wait until that profile becomes inactive, which is typically a couple of months. And that's you not being in that profile at all. You can't sign in, nothing. That's the proper way to do it. Doesn't mean that you can't create a profile and get in there and probably have it up and running. Sure, but at some point they're going to catch you and you don't want to do it that way. You don't want to get on Google's bad side and then it just becomes a giant mess that becomes almost impossible to get out of. So you want to have Google be on your side because like pretty much all organic traffic that you're going to get is going to be worth it for you, as opposed to going through the headaches of trying to create a new profile every time and trying to get ranked up every time. And you don't want to go through that mess. So just do it right the first time. And that's really what I wanted to put this video together for you guys for, because I'm seeing it more and more, especially now as more profiles are becoming suspended. and requesting re-verification. It happens to everyone, even us. Ours is a little bit of a different situation. We were virtual for a long time. We've opened a physical location. As you can see, I'm in the office right now. And so we're going through the verification process, and we submitted our video about a week ago, and yeah, it's still in pending edit. So, these things are kind of out of your hands. It's in Google's hands, and whatever they decide, they decide. But as long as you do it the right way, it's just a waiting game. So have patience, be smart, and if you have to make any of those changes and you need just kind of a second eye or opinion or help, feel free to reach out to me. I'm always here to help, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon.